Good morning, Facebook. It's Marquise Martin Hayes, and it is time for the Monday Moment. I want to jump in today and share some things with you around personal responsibility. Let's not waste any time. Let's dive right in. So, when we talk about personal responsibility and everything that's going on in life and in the world at this time, personal responsibility is everything, right? So, when we talk about personal responsibility, there are some things you got to remember. You are personally responsible for how you grow, right? So how much time you take to develop your mind, your spirit, and your heart really belongs to you. It's your personal responsibility. And I know that's really easy to get, but let's dive in a little bit deeper. You are personally responsible to make sure you're stretching yourself, to make sure you're growing yourself. No one is responsible for that other than you. And so I want to encourage you to make sure you're doing that. Whether that looks like 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, pick up a book. The stat that says only 5% of the people will pick up a self-help book in a year in America and actually read it is heartbreaking. When I look around our country and I see everything that's happening, you see it. I'm engaged in some very uncomfortable conversations on Facebook. You are, or you may be avoiding them. But it's your personal responsibility, because if you're not developing yourself to grow yourself, then all you're probably doing is hiding. Yeah, it's really easy, isn't it? It's a lot easier. It's more comfortable. It's nice to be nice. It's nice to keep your nose clean and stay out of trouble. It's nice to not have to be on the leading edge. I mean, after all, you're super busy with your life as it is, right? Like, so you don't have time. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. BS. I call BS on it. If you're not taking the time to develop yourself mentally, then you're part of the problem. Because what it means then is that you're just absorbing all the information that comes from media. You're absorbing the information that comes from your peers. You're calculating and trying to redefine based on what you see, which comes from a limited space. Yeah, he said that. When we're not developing ourselves or sharpening our mind, we really do. We only have dullness to come from, and the majority of the country is dull. Most of us are dull. We've not sharpened our edges. We don't study. We go read information that's been given to us. Did we forget that the information that's been given to us has been filtered and altered to fit the audience, to fit the owner? Did we forget that? And so the ability to think critically, we've not done a good job of. That's just the truth. And so unless you're reading to develop and stretch yourself, yeah, you are actually part of the problem. Actually part of the problem. If you don't believe me, read the Four Agreements. It'll remind you. Don Luis did an amazing job. Miguel Ruiz did an amazing job of breaking down that you don't believe what you believe. You don't. You just believe what you believe because you've only been surrounded by the content you've been surrounded by. And you've not challenged it by reading and stretching yourself and stretching your experiences and stretching your imagination and growing yourself. And when you don't do that, then you become a product of what already is around you based on how it benefits you. Yeah, it's true. So in this Monday Moment, it's imperative that you pick up a book, that you start studying, that you start expanding yourself about things that you're uncomfortable with. Why? So that you can start to formulate another opinion versus the one you've been given, that you've accepted, that's ruling your thought and causing you to be inactive, an armchair quarterback, sitting back, doing nothing. Like, you can get mad at me if you want, but I'm just saying, like, if only 5% of the country is picking up books that are self-help related to grow and stretch themselves, then yeah, that 95% is not making a difference at all. I could care less about your political party affiliation. That has nothing to do with anything. As a matter of fact, you're not a Republican. You're not a Democrat. You're a freaking human who happens to live in America. Did you know that? That you're a human before you put on any of these other tags that guide your beliefs that you don't even believe. Yeah. So it's imperative. that you start stretching yourself, that you start creating experiences with people that don't look like you, that don't think like you, that don't believe the way you do. Because you realize you don't know crap. Really, I mean, because that's when your opinion gets jarred, gets shaken, gets stretched, gets shredded. When you're willing to get dirty and connect with people who are different than you. The work of humanity, not the work of what it takes for me to stay behind my four walls. So when we talk about personal responsibility, we're talking about that. It's something else we're talking about when we talk about personal responsibility as well. You see, a lot of us, or several of us, I've been told, you just need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's what I did and you'll get there. That's also BS. I call BS on that too. It's just not true. The fact of the matter is that wherever you are, yes, you took some personal responsibility to get there. But at the same time, somebody else made it their personal responsibility to offer you opportunities to get there as well. No one is self-made. And so you have an obligation. I love it. My guy said it weeks ago. You owe. If you've arrived somewhere, you owe to people who haven't. What does that look like? Giving up all my savings? I'm not going to do. Yeah. No one said any of that. No one said any of that. You owe it as part of your personal responsibility to make sure that you're contributing to the solutions to the problems at hand. So that goes back to the first point. If you're not reading and stretching yourself and allowing yourself or putting yourself in uncomfortable positions to grow and to expand, then you don't have anything to offer. Or let me rephrase that. You have something to offer, but the need to be compelled and surrendered to it is minimal. You have a personal responsibility, my friend, to stretch yourself, to get out of your comfort zone, and to connect with people who don't look like or operate like you, so that you can grow, so that the people that you interact with, that you get to become a voice and make a difference. It's not enough to just exist in your four walls and be really happy that they're working well, or your 16 walls for however many homes you have. I don't have a problem with wealth. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. But my point is this. We're a cohesive unit. And many of us are standing on the sidelines, armchair quarterbacking, devoid of our personal responsibility to make a difference and make an impact. See, standing on one side of the argument and arguing your point, which isn't even your point, it's what makes you feel comfortable, so you stand on that side because you can hide behind somebody else's point, doesn't do a damn thing. It doesn't change anything at all. It doesn't involve you. It doesn't get you involved. It doesn't bring your creativity, your genius, your spirit, your life, the God in you. It doesn't bring any of that to the table to make a difference because you're not actively engaged. You've not taken on the personal responsibility to be a part of the solution. You just sat back and absorbed someone else's opinion and made it yours because it made you feel good. We live in a beautiful time right now. A beautiful time. Because the crap has hit the fan on so many fronts. And hopefully more to come. It's an opportunity for you to step up, step in, and make a difference. This is the Monday moment. This is a message. You need to stretch it. Because you actually matter. You matter. You growing matters. I know we live in a society that doesn't push that. I know we live in a society that says take care of you. That's not what I'm talking about. That's just selfishness and greed. I'm talking about you, your spirit that's here, that has the ability to have influence, that has the ability to make a difference. Step into that purpose. Pick it. Stretch yourself. Create a relationship with someone who has nothing